It is indeed a pleasure for Chamber of Commerce, specifically the Southern Gujarat Chamber of Commerce and Industry of Surat, to host sensitization program for a conference, for a for a funding conference that US Global Business Forum is organizing in April 2022 in California, USA. And before we start with other formalities, I'll request President of Chamber of Commerce, Shri Ashish Bhai Gujarati, who has always been proactive in grabbing the opportunity of anything that can help the trade and industry, to please welcome the audience and the speakers to this very important webinar on funding opportunities from US investors for Indian entrepreneurs.
Thank you, Anil Bhai. My colleague, Vice President of Chamber, Shri Himanshu Bhai Bodawala, Mr. Sanjay Patwaji, our Group Chairman, Shri Anil Bhai Saraugi, today's keynote speaker from US Global Business Forum, Asia, Chairman Shri Dr. Arun Ghosh, invited guests, members of Chamber, and participants at large. A very good evening and warm welcome to all of you to this very informative webinar on receiving funding from your projects. Friends, venture capital inflow in India was at all-time high of around $19.5 billion in first 9 months of the year, that is January to September. In this, the July-September quarter accounted for the half corpus with $9.9 billion raised across 519 deals. India is expected to becoming the third largest economy in the world in next 2-3 years. It is already ranked at 5 now, with an Indian economy consistently recording the highest economic growth among the large economies. We will continuously be inviting interest from the foreign funds and venture capital firms to invest in India in becoming to partner the booming economy of the India. There are different avenues to fund one business, be it a debt or equity or a mix of both. India is opening up its economy and allowing FDI of 50% and more through direct mode in most of the industry segment has finally allowed all global financial giants to set up their office in India. Naturally, when the size of the US economy is at least 10 times higher than that of India, they will have a more capital to infuse across the world, and US-based fund manager has the most innovative concept of providing funding for the promising projects. Today, we have with us one of such a prominent personality of the US funding industry who has a gamut of experience in executing the funding across the Asia. It will be a great opportunity for all of us to have a first-hand understanding on the kind of projects which can be funded by such foreign organizations, what kind of structure they provide, how much it costs to a project developer, what timelines are there for the return of this investment made, as well as the industry that they are going to look in for the India to invest. With this, once again, I welcome you all to the webinar. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashish Bhai. Only thing that I can tell Dr. Ghosh Sahab is that we can only welcome you with words, and we cannot offer you even virtual flowers these days. But anyways, welcome to this very important webinar. And as Ashish Bhai very rightly said, that in the minds of global investors and more particularly US investors, Indian entrepreneurs are on the high radar, and all the investors globally are looking for opportunities in the Indian entrepreneurs. And going by purchasing power parity analysis, Indian economy is already the third largest economy in the world. And if we are able to achieve $5 trillion economy size by 2025, that is the dream of our Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, we would certainly be inching towards second being the second largest economy in the world. And in this backdrop, it is indeed very, very important for the Indian entrepreneurs also to tap, to explore potential of tapping capital from across the globe. In this backdrop, I'll request our very good friend Sanjay Bhai Patwa to introduce today's speaker, Sri Dr. Ghosh Sahab, to this August gathering. Patwa Sahab, please.
Thank you. Dr. Arun Ghosh, US ग्लोबल फोरम एशिया के चेयरपर्सन हैं। वो एशिया ऑल बिजनेस एंड इन्वेस्टमेंट के लिए वो सतत कार्यशील है कि अच्छा एशियन कंट्री के लिए वहाँ फंडिंग यूएस से कैसे आए, उसके लिए लास्ट 15 साल से वो ट्राई कर रहे हैं। मिस्टर डॉक्टर घोष इस इलेक्ट्रॉनिक पावर के प्रोफेशन में लास्ट 34 ईयर्स से कार्य कर रहे हैं। लास्ट 22 ईयर्स से ताइवान और यूएस के साथ जॉइंट वेंचर में पावर और एनर्जी का भी बहुत बड़ा काम कर रहे हैं। इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स, टेलीकॉम, इंजीनियरिंग एंड पावर एनर्जी में उन्होंने पीएचडी किया है। वो बेसिकली वेस्ट बंगाल से हैं और बॉम्बे उनका कर्मभूमि है। आई होप कि सभी लोग इस अमेरिकन यात्रा में सब जुड़े और सूरत के और देश के डेवलपमेंट के लिए यहाँ इन्वेस्टमेंट लाए, ऐसी सबको शुभकामना। पर फिर से आप सबका वेलकम और चैम्बर का थैंक्स कहना चाहूंगा कि उन्होंने बहुत अच्छी तरह ये मीटिंग हैंडल की।
Thank you, Sanjay Bhai. We on behalf of Chamber of Commerce thank Sanjay Bhai for helping us get connected with Arun ji. Now, Arun ji, before you start speaking, as Sanjay ji had requested you, मैं भी कोशिश करता हूँ थोड़ा हिंदी में बोलूँ ताकि आपको भी थोड़ा sensitize हो सके. You can speak a bit in English and Hindi mix.
Thank you.
आप अपना वक्तव्य बोले, उसके पहले मैं ऑडियंस थोड़ा मैंने देखा था, उसके कंटेक्स्ट में मैं आपको कहना चाहूंगा कि we have in this gathering a very good number of large industrialists of South Gujarat joining this webinar. I'll give you a perspective that one of the leading waste treatment facility owner who has facilities of most hazardous waste treatment across the country, one of the largest hazardous waste treatment facility group has joined us, and they are also into big time industrial park development also. That is one profile, and on the other side we also have leading financial actively involved big time in mutual fund activities, etc. So in this backdrop, you can also fine tune your presentation, especially for opportunities for infrastructure and this type of waste management facility entrepreneurs. Over to you, Dr. Ghosh.
Good evening, Dr. Anil. Good evening, our President, Mr. Ashish, and our Vice President, and also Mr. Sanjay ji. It was nice and honor to be, present here and express what USGBF is doing. Now, I'll briefly tell you about the USGBF activity in US Global Business Forum. Before that, I just want to also inform you, I have invited the founder chairman, Mr. Kevin, to be also present in this. In California now, it's almost 5 o'clock in the morning. I was trying to wake him up, so he will be also joining. And one of our senior member, Mr. Girish Patel, also supposed to join. Now, as regards the US Global Business Forum is concerned, basically a platform where there is a pool of investors available and 20 different market segments. And we are just inviting the companies who are seeking investment from across 50 countries to be there in the same platform and exchange their investments options and discussions and close the deal. Now the market segment jo hai, there are 20 market segments. So these 20 market segments, I'm sorry, I'm still continuing in English. So whatever the market segments, mainly, there are emerging market segments and the existing market segments where India is growing heavily. So, like I can tell you, the infrastructure part, because government spending is almost 80% on infrastructures. Whatever the growth is happening, there is funder who is available for big infrastructures like port, airport, oil sectors. Similarly, we have investors available for pharmaceutical segment, tourism segment, jewelry segment, IT segment, telecom segment, defense sector, and also mining sector. So there are a pool of investors available, and investors starting from minimum 5 million to there is no ending. The investors like Texas Fund is available, who can invest in trillions also. So as per the statistics, in the year 2020, there was total $579 billion was invested in Asia. And from Asia to US, it was around $380 billion. So there was almost 1 trillion to and fro transactions or investment happened. Now, I am very excited to inform you that so far, I have received almost 7 trillion investment proposal from oil and gas sector only. That includes, we are working on that. That includes disinvestment of Bharat Petroleum. In ONGC, the ONGC normally when explores oil, and after some exploring some days, they abandon that oil, abandon that mines or oils. So there are total 1,400 oils are there. Those again has to be reactivated. So there is a huge investment proposal. Then we have a city gas system, distribution system, as per Government of India policy. So there was a huge infrastructure to be built up for city gas distributions. So in oil segment, oil and gas segment itself, there is a probable opportunity of almost 7 trillion investment, and all we have already forward, and we are also getting companies like Exxon, Chevron, because Texas is the energy hub of the world, and in oil and gas comes. So we are trying to get all those big companies also to coming to India and participate in the disinvestment. We are actively working for the disinvestment of Bharat Petroleum itself, where I think there is a US company who is already ready to invest 20 billion. Now, the highest bidder from India was Vedanta, who did around 12 billion. So it's not only Bharat Petroleum, there are a list of disinvestments, companies where government is way behind about the target. Now, just they are already 7% of their target. So huge scope of disinvestment investment. So that's I am talking about the government sector. Then there are gas station. We have a Japanese fund who are participating in gas-based power stations and participating of the new port, large infrastructures like airports. So this goes to the government sector. But in private sector, there are a number of projects is happening, particularly in renewable energy. Now, our Honorable Prime Minister has already announced that by 2030, we should have 500 gigawatt renewable power. To achieve that, every year we have to have at least 50 to 60 gigawatt power to be generated. So we have a good number of investors from US who are very keen to invest on energy segment like renewable power. Now there are two ways we are doing. For the government-based powers, we are doing in good system. We loan, operate, and transfer. And for private sectors who are having the land and the PPA ready, they are doing SPV model, special purpose vehicle model with equity participation. So in that renewable energy segment, I think Gujarat is the prime state who is way ahead in renewable energy segment than other states. So huge potentials for that. And I can also tell you that one of the unique renewable energy investment proposal we have already received, that it was 5,000 megawatt floating energy, floating solar. So that's 5 gigawatt in Maharashtra. So we have received the investment proposal so far, almost 10 trillion worth investment proposals. And that's only from India. So I am not talking about the other countries. We have also received some investment proposals from Sri Lanka on the petroleum segment, Egypt, Oman, and in Middle East also, that petroleum and gas. As regards our Surat specifically, there are scopes of textile, there are scopes of jewelry, and many industries are there. So we have received some of the projects, DPRs from Surat also. I do not know whether they are your member or not, but we have received already few projects and we are working on that. So what I request our members to come with their proposals, and there is a big opportunity as I said, in 2020, total 1 trillion transaction was happening in Asia with US. This year, we have a target of minimum 1 trillion transaction to happen with India itself. And such a huge potential is there. So I invite our business owners in India in various segments to come forward, take this unique opportunity, because US is very keen to invest in India, that particularly because of China episode. So the investment is coming to India only because at the moment, and this is the only viable country who can attract investment. So I'll rather invite some of the questions. If there are any questions where I have to put some clarity on.
Thank you, Dr. Ghosh. There are many questions from the participants, but before participants can ask questions, I would request you to set out the modalities for participating in this conference so that many of the questions would be sorted out by your explanation. How to participate in the conference, how does the entire procedure, how is the entire procedure of seeking investment and things like that?
Okay, so as I said, that we have a pool of investors available in 20 different market segments. So we are inviting across around 500 companies, 50 different countries there to seek investment. And what is the process? There is a registration fee of $15,000 per company. And where 1%, that's basically a reimbursement of the expenses. What they will get within 15,000 is a to and fro air ticket for 1 person, 6 days 5-star, 7-star hotel stay at California, and the exhibition is just 10 kilometers away from the Hollywood. So that locations they will stay, the fooding, the local conveyance, and one 10 by 10 exhibition stall, which will be used as an office during discussions or negotiations with the other investors. And then the intangible benefit which we are providing, that B1, we are arranging B1, B2 visa. with our invitation letter, and we have a quota of visa available with that for this particular exhibition. And that B1, B2 obviously is valid for 10 years. So that's a intangible benefit, whoever will be participating. And if two executives wants to go for the same company, so an additional executive, it will be $5,000 extra. So just 5,000 will be added with each additional person. And as I said, we are also inviting state governments to have their pavilion. So state governments can come with 10 delegations, and we will be providing them that 1,000 square feet for a pavilion. Like Maharashtra Industry Department has already confirmed. We are just waiting their letter. Similarly, Telangana, and we are also trying to get Karnataka and Assam, West Bengal, Rajasthan. So these states will have a pavilion over there. In fact, we have invited Honorable Chief Minister of Gujarat also to be participating. So one of our associates is working on that. So to have a Gujarat pavilion over there. So in those pavilions, state can also showcase their projects where they want investment. Even there are some states who want to restructure their existing costly loan. Some of the state who has taken a loan of say 40,000 crore at the interest of 6.9%. And we have investors who are available to even provide similar loan at a 3% or less for a tenure of 10 to 20 years. So they can replace that costly loan with a cheaper loan. So for loan restructuring also, we have investors over there. So we have investors who are in debt financing, equity participations, joint ventures, venture capitalists, angel finance, and technology transfer. So we are also having a couple of proposals who are into the hospitality segment and medical segment with an innovative technology, like say cancer drug with an Israel company, joint venture. One of our Indian businessmen is trying to do that. So similarly, LG development. So there are funders for startup also and for innovative technology. So it's a technology transfer, joint venture. It's not just funding. All kind of business, and coming back to that procedure of attending that. So what we are trying to do, normally visa takes 1.5 months minimum. Nowadays, there is a long queue. So we have only 2 months left in hand, because as much as participant has to confirm, so that will be better. And as you all know that, international travel, international flights are banned till 28 February. It was up to 31st January. Then again, government has extended to 20th February. They may extend further. So in order to avoid that scenario, what we have planned, we are taking our, members and delegates by charter flight. So we will take around 300 of our participants through charter flight, through Newark. Now, why Newark? We are trying to get President Joe Biden into our show, but President won't be available at California during that period, 14 to 16, because of his preoccupations. So we are trying to get his, appointment on 12th of April at Newark. So we have already booked the, United Nations Convention Hall, where we are trying to get all these 300 delegates charter flight to New York first on 11th night. 12th, there is supposed to be a meeting with President Joe Biden. And on 13th, again, we will carry forward to California. So there will be 14, 15, 16 our show in California. So that's the plan as of now, and it may change on the basis of President Joe Biden's appointment. So all these facilities, all these opportunities, everybody will be getting at a cost of $15,000. Now you say this $15,000 is not a fee, it's a reimbursement. Now I just sent one of my colleagues from Mumbai to California yesterday because there was one program going on for this Republican Day celebration today at California by USGBF. So it costed us 1,92,000 to and fro, only economy class. So that cost of air travel has increased like anything. So if you see, if you calculate, even if you visit as a solo invest seeker, you will be landed up paying even more than that. And you won't be able to get that large pool of investor in the same platform. So you have to go here and there also. So if somebody is thinking too much about that registration fee, I am just saying it's a it's a value for money, and the tangible part, intangible part, I said that's the visa. Nowadays, getting visa to US is also not so easy. So those under our banner, it will be easier to get, and under that exhibition, so because it is an investment, so US has a different concession to us for our delegates. So we are not going to depend on the conventional international flights. We will have our own arrangement for going there. So we'll be on irrespective of whatever happens. And I don't think there will be any lockdown further up to April. So whoever is seeking investment, my request is please don't lose this opportunity.
थैंक यू घोष साहब. सभी पार्टिसिपेंट से रिक्वेस्ट है कि जो भी प्रश्न पूछना चाहें वो दे कैन रेज देयर हैंड सो दैट वन बाय वन हर एक को हम प्रश्नों के लिए बुला सकें. एंड इन द मीनवाइल घोष साहब, क्या आप बता सकते हैं कि मिनिमम टिकट साइज जनरली ये जो इन्वेस्टर्स होते हैं वो कितने टिकट साइज का इन्वेस्टमेंट जनरली वो लोग ढूंढ रहे होते हैं? और मेरी समझ से क्या ये बात सही है कि ये प्रोग्राम के तहत हम एक कॉन्फ्रेंस वहां कैलिफोर्निया में करने जा रहे हैं जिसमें जिसको इन्वेस्टर चाहिए वो वहां अपना स्टॉल लगाएगा और जो पोटेंशियल इन्वेस्टर्स है वो इनके वहां विजिट करेंगे और इन्वेस्टमेंट प्रपोजल को इवैल्यूएट करके मैच मेकिंग जैसा कार्यक्रम होने जा रहा है?
No, I'll explain. It's not like that. See, there money investor both hai who are saying the minimum investment 5 million chahiye. So they want to invest 5 million and above. Now, but there are many SME segments. So SME के लिए हम लोग क्या किया? We have generated around 100 million funding of the USGBF itself. So that जिनको 1 million, 2 million चाहिए, उनको हम कैटर कर सकते.
Correct.
Okay. And for the investors who are seeking more than 5 million, they directly interact with that respective investors. Now, मेरे को मालूम है जो within 3 days in that summit, ये possible नहीं है to just initiate a discussion and close the discussions, right? So as soon as तो कोई कंपनी रजिस्टर करेगा, we will ask them to provide few things. One, एक रजिस्ट्रेशन फॉर्म, वो भरने से उनका डिटेल आ जाएगा. And then उनको रिक्वेस्ट करेगा भाई फर्स्ट पेज एंड सेकंड पेज ऑफ पासपोर्ट स्कैन कॉपी, क्योंकि वो हम लोग को इमीडिएट इन्विटेशन लेटर के लिए यूज होगा. एंड प्लस फिर हम उनको रिक्वेस्ट करेंगे फॉर DPR, प्रोजेक्ट रिपोर्ट, जिसका ऊपर उन्होंने फंडिंग मांग रहा है. द मोमेंट वी गेट दैट, देन वी हैव ए टीम जो वो इन्वेस्टिंग प्रपोजल को सेग्रीगेट करेगा ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ मार्केट सेगमेंट. एंड देन वी हैव ऑल्सो एक पुल ऑफ इन्वेस्टर जिसको हम सेग्रीगेट करके रखा है, जो हु इज इंटरेस्टेड टू फंड इन मेडिकल, हु इज इंटरेस्टेड टू फंड इन ज्वेलरी, हु इज इंटरेस्टेड. सो ऑल दोज प्रोजेक्ट हम लोग उनको immediately transfer करेगा. Okay, so there is a organization also with involved with us जो वो सब project का करेगा, you know, due diligence कर लेंगे. Once either by KPMG, कोई बड़ा project होगा तो we will get KPMG to do the due diligence, and small project, SME project में we have our own CA firm who does that. Once they say yes, and then हम a particular company के साथ वो investor का communicate करा देंगे. We cannot wait for April. So within these 2 months, the negotiation can start with the investors and the investor seeking companies. So correspondence can start, negotiate. So US GBA will not take part the inter business discussions because we are a platform. So by that time, you know, event date will come. We expect at least 60 to 70% of discussion will be over. Negotiation will be over, so that during you know, event MOU is get signed and you know, investment is received. So we are trying to ensure that at least 99% companies get their investment. Nobody should come empty-handed. But then, having said that, a strong arrangement has to be done. Cooperation is required from both sides. So registration is very important as early as possible to get the visa, as well as correspondence with the respective investors. And because there will be questions from either side, investor side as well as the investor seeking company side. So as I said, that 3 days is not enough to complete the discussion and get the fund. So there has to be pre-discussions, as I said. Even it can have a post-discussion. Suppose some of the investings could not be completed, by the time to the event. Then we are organizing 2 times in a year, even 2 times in a year. So we can spill over those, projects which we couldn't complete it with this to the next investment summit automatically. And next investment summit is going to happen in Las Vegas in November. So it's a continuous process. It's not that investment 3 days is over, so everything is over. No. So we are trying to see that everyone get investments and take that opportunity. Time may extend or maybe prepone also, prepone or postpone, depending on the situations.
Thank you, Ghosh, for a very detailed explanation. And the concept of pre-negotiation and pre-discussion would certainly lead to success of potential investments through this conference. मित्रों, आप जिनको भी interest हो, कुछ भी प्रश्न हो, queries हो, आपसे निवेदन है कि आप you can raise your hand so that we can allow you to unmute yourself and ask the questions. Otherwise, we anyways have a couple of good friends who would be ready to chip in and participate in the deliberation. कोई प्रश्न हो तो आप हाथ खड़ा कर सकते हैं. और in the meanwhile, गिरीश जी, लुथरा साहब, यदि yes, he is always there. Luthra साहब, what are your opinion and views about this whole thing, and anything that you want to contribute or discuss, Girish bhai?
See, thank you, and welcome to our friends from US. And point is, if we're looking at MSME to participate, they would not participate at these prices. That is very clear. They have $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 they can spend. They would not be able to spend to achieve maybe $500 million, not even $500 million, 5 lakh. $500,000. No investor of $1 million and below would even spend that money. So then the whole exercise will become futile in registrations. We will target medium and large, then expecting $10,000, $20,000 to be invested. People can, because if 50,000 is what they expect, there would be 5,000 other also. Other spendings also. Now, Number two, will not look at small ticket. There is a small ticket side.
आशीष भाई आपको गिरीश भाई की बात सुनाई दे रही है आशीष भाई? So Girish bhai, it appears that there is some
Very low.
connectivity
Your bandwidth is low.
bandwidth problem from your side, Girish bhai. You are speaking some valuable inputs, लेकिन आपकी बात ऑडियंस तक पहुंच नहीं पा रही है.
Okay.
Am I audible now?
I listened to the questions of Mr. Luthra, and I can suggest also, like for those SME segment, yeah, they cannot go, but they can send their representative. Like even chamber can, take a stall and represent themselves with their total project, or they can have a group. They can combine a group. That group can, pay 15,000 and go there with the number of projects in hand. As I said, for this small, small and SME segment who are seeking investment even for a 1 million or less than 1 million, USGBF has its own fund generated for 100 million for those SME segment only. It is not necessary that particular company has to go in that SME segment. So one of their representations or a chamber can also organize that. So there will be one pavilion for say South Gujarat, or Chamber of Commerce or whatever. So in that pavilion, you can go with this number of small proposals.
It's a good idea.
Okay.
Parantu, if I can try to recall, what is the minimum ticket size that generally the investor would be looking? Generally, a ballpark figure.
You are questioning me?
Yes, Ghosh sir.
What you are questioning this?
What is the typical ballpark investment size that an investor would be looking? Not below this figure is, it would not be viable sort of. So that, these participants would be able to understand whether this whole game is for them or not.
Yes. Normally this is 4 million and above. That means 30 crore and above.
Yes.
But as I said, below 30 crore, even for 10 crore and above, USGBF itself is having a corpus of fund. Okay, because US investors will not be interested below 4 million or 5 million. So that's why I'm saying we are ready to cater to those SME segments. But then if they cannot go directly of their own, they can send a delegation or they can come under certain banner with their list of projects.
So in a way, to all the participants, typical ticket size would be approximately 50 crores of rupees, but it can be fine-tuned to something like 10 to 20 crore rupees also. Girish bhai, is your bandwidth correct now, Luthra sir? Anyways, Sagar Jain,
No.
Sagar Jain, you would like to ask a Sagar, you can unmute yourself. Yes, Sagar, tell me. Please unmute yourself. Yes, Sagar.
Yeah, I did. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, very good evening, everybody. So, first of all, my question is that
A little louder.
Okay, now it is fine.
Yes.
Yeah, so I have IT company and I'm working from Indian office as well as US office as well, right? Currently, I am in India due to not having visa. So once after getting the investment, can I work from the US office as well, or I have to move to India? That is the
I understood his question. It was not audible properly. So what he's trying to say that after investment, you want to operate from India or where?
Can you operate from US? I think you can operate from anywhere. I mean, that should be
Yes. That's not a problem because we are, हम लोग का participants US से भी आ रहे हैं ना. So there are a lot of participants from US also. There are small investors who are coming from US.
Correct, correct.
Example, I'll give you some example. Not only small, there is a film, film studio going to be constructed at Colorado on 1,500 acres. Okay, so that they are seeking investment to us, and it's a investment of, say, they are looking for 10 million. Against which they can provide 14% equity. So they were trying to, that entrepreneur is a woman, and she wants to have all women entrepreneur. And that studio is supposed to be bigger than the Warren Buffett studio. And that's why we have contacted Mrs. Oisharja Bachchan and, Deepika Padukone, even daughter of Mr. Mahindra, or daughter of Kumar Mangalam Birla, to participate in that. So it's both way. You can also participate in US and you can be staying there. By virtue of that investment, you can get green card for your family. That's the EB5 route. So there are opportunity in both sides. So it's not that. And as far Mr. Jain's question was, I think the equity participation ratio, that I can give you an example. There are certain solar projects which is getting on equity participation ratio with the private solar projects. So suppose if you have a land of 400 acre. So in 400 acre, we can construct 100 megawatt solar. Now in 100 megawatt solar, what we require, our investors require that landowner should also have a PPA, power purchase agreement. If that landowner has land and power purchase agreement, then the investors are ready to invest. Okay. Now suppose 100 megawatt project cost will be at the rate of 5 crore, say 500 crore. I'm just stating for the sake of calculations. So out of 500 crore investment total project, maybe the land cost and the PPA cost or license cost is coming to 50 crore. So that means 10% is the already investment happen from the developer side or the landowner side. So the foreign company can invest 450 crore by means of a SPV, where the equity ratio will be 90:10.
Correct. So yes. So Ishan is also, he also has a question. Can you please unmute yourself, Ishan, and ask a question? Yes, Ishan. Yes. Please unmute yourself. Yes, Ishan.
अभी आवाज आ रही है सर जी?
Yes.
घोष जी, अगर इथेनॉल का प्रोजेक्ट है तो इसमें कुछ इन्वेस्टमेंट मिल सकता है?
क्या चीज का प्रोजेक्ट है?
इथेनॉल, जो भी पेट्रोल में इथेनॉल.
Yeah, today itself I have got a ethanol project report. As I'm saying, there are, it is also a good project coming up, and people are ready to on that. There are investors. Today I just got one report.
But how is the approach from USA? Are they ready for that? Are they eager for investment in ethanol?
Yes, they are ready, and they are ready in both way. Equity participations as well as debt financing.
We think about
financing, they require the collaterals.
Okay, so how can we approach them through USA Global Forum?
Yes, that's why same process. Like say, suppose if you have a project of ethanol, you register yourself, provide your DPR, we'll immediately connect the investor who is ready to invest on this project, and you start negotiate with them. आप उनसे बात चालू कर लीजिए, and जब आप जाएंगे तो वहीं MOU साइन होएगा.
अच्छा, तो मुझे कहाँ से when I have to apply?
ये आपका एक रजिस्ट्रेशन फॉर्म है जो
कनेक्टेड टू
संजय जी के पास होगा, रजिस्ट्रेशन कॉपीज एंड ऑल.
चैम्बर ऑफ कॉमर्स का कांटेक्ट कीजिए, साउथ गुजरात चैम्बर ऑफ कॉमर्स एंड इंडस्ट्री का कांटेक्ट कीजिए. वी विल गेट यू कनेक्टेड थ्रू टू यूएस ग्लोबल फंड एंड GOSAP, then you can proceed with them.
Sure,
yes.
Definitely.
So Krunal Mehta is from Mehta FinCon, and he would also like to ask a question. Krunal, can you Kunal bhai, can you please unmute yourself and ask the question, Kunal bhai?
Yes, yes. Can you hear me now, please?
Yes, Kunal bhai. Welcome.
So, first of all, I appreciate the initiative taken by Chamber of Commerce and especially Ashish bhai and Himanshu bhai, wonderfully moderated by Anil bhai Sarogi and well taken initiative by Sanjay bhai Patwa. I have personally spoken with Dr. Ghosh, and I know that this looks to be very interesting. Girish bhai was mentioning about that SME sector. Maybe if you can come back and bring that question again, that would be little interesting to know. One question to Mr. Ghosh is that what should be the cutoff time a person should think to apply for this? Because as he mentioned that the procedure for visa and almost other things would take 1.5 months. So would that be fine that if he applies it in the month of Feb also, or should there be a cutoff time for a person to think for applying?
Actually, we have kept the cutoff date of 5th February. Because
February and
5th February, but we cannot extend beyond 10th February because, as you know, that visa take minimum 1.5 months to 2 months time.
yeah. So
Okay,
10th Feb.
Girish bhai, unmute yourself, Girish bhai.
Girish bhai, you are available? Luthra sir?
Yes, I am back with you. Am I audible now?
Yeah,
Yes, you are.
now clear. Now it's clear.
All right,
Better.
I'll switch on. I changed my location. Okay, right. My two questions were there. One, MSME, they said, okay, we can go through chamber as a group and reduce cost. I still believe that anybody asking for $1 million or below may not be ready to spend so much going there, and so we need to work out what we can do. Maybe next event can be planned here, or right now it is done on internet and then something in India. Number two, my major question was, what is the maximum ticket size the investors are coming to that place?
There is no limit. As I said, there is an investor, Texas Fund, who is ready to invest in trillion also.
Okay.
No, there is no limit, depending on the project viability. As I told
That's
you,
right.
oil and gas segment itself, we have received 5 trillion investment proposals, and that
Right.
we forwarded it to Texas Fund. Let me tell you who is Texas Fund. You know that Texas Fund is owned by the elder son of the George Bush II,
Okay.
President George Bush II. They own almost 60% of the Texas oil and gas segment properties. So they are very keen to invest on the oil and gas particularly, and there is no limit. It can be goes in trillion. Even I can give you an example. One of the finance service company in Mumbai is seeking 5 billion. So we are also organizing that 5 billion fund for him. As I say, it's a debt fund, and he is ready to provide the collateral guarantee and all. So there is no upper limit. Frankly, if the project is viable and KPI says that yes, this project is fundable, amount of fund is not a problem.
Now, number two, are we only looking at debts, or also that there are some joint venture partners looking to enter India in different sectors, and they would also be present or tied up with?
Yes, I have already informed you that is not only debt fund, there is equity participation options, there is venture capitalists, there is angel finance for startup, and there is joint venture. There is even technology transfer. Like say, we also gotten proposals for a battery. Now it is not lithium battery, but a new technology battery is coming for the storage part. And that, even I just, also excited to inform you, Tesla is going to invest in India, and it is happening through us. So for EV manufacturing, and also they manufacture the associate components like lithium battery and others. And in the process also, Tesla has a subsidiary company called Starlink, which is having their own satellite, and they want to have a project in India for satellite. So there are many opportunities. It's not only debt fund or equity participations. There are joint venture technology transfer, venture capital and angel financing.
All right. So we'll give you the details of specific subject investments and then we'll take it forward. I'll talk to you separately, Mr. Ghosh. Thank you.
Thank you, Luthra Saab, and we look forward to your joining this delegation from Surat also. We have a participant from whose name is Vinayak Sonicha. Vinayak ji, can you unmute yourself and ask the question? Yes, Vinayak ji.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Yes.
My question is, I start my export-import business, and where I found for investor, can you suggest? And my item is maida, and one container total amount 7 to 8 lakh something. Yes.
This kind of funding requirement can happen only through debt financing, loan financing against collateral, because investor will not participate as a business partner for this export import. So we can, debt financing.
So, with the permission of President and Vice President, can we proceed for completing the program?
One more question.
Yes,
Sir,
yes.
is funding available for the local corporation like we have a Surat Municipal Corporation? They also come out with a big project.
Yeah, I'll love to answer this, because there are many investors who are interested for PPP, public-private partnership projects. I am also personally working with Pune Municipal Corporations for their water treatment plant and sewerage project, and also the solar project. They are trying to put 25 megawatt or 100 megawatt on that. So there are investors who will love to participate in PPP, road project, infrastructure project, bridge project. They are ready.
Correct.
Yeah, they feel sure if they invest on the government sectors, whether it is state government or central government, they are more interested.
Fine.
Very true.
So,
And
Anil bhai, we can proceed.
I'll try to just call Mr. Kevin if he can join now, because it is almost 6 o'clock over there. So I'll just try to call him.
Yeah.
So let us hang on for a half a minute or so. If somehow we can get connected to Mr. Kevin from California, he would be able to provide good inputs. None of us has spoken in Gujarati, but Mr. Ghosh says that he will be speaking to us in Gujarati.
Dialed a number.
Yeah, I'll just try to connect them.
A wrong.
Anil bhai, if any questions from the chat box is there.
So in the chat box, there are procedural questions, which most of them Dr. Ghosh has already responded to, and most of them are responded by.
Fine, okay, fine.
Anyways, and then more questions can be taken up later on also.
Okay.
even if we don't get connected to Kevin ji,
Actually, he has just called me. Kevin. Kevin, can you please immediately?
Good.
Hello. Join. We are almost finishing. Huh? And say, because all are waiting. So I have waited him. He's just joining in 2 minutes. Yeah. In the meantime, if any other questions, I can answer also.
Anybody want to ask question personally? Then also there are some questions like how to. Yes, Girish bhai.
Mr. Ghosh, I was just keen on understanding what is the focus on environmental and green sustainability as well as circular economy. Any specific funds who are looking at investments in India?
Yes, that comes under renewable. So in renewable, as I said, that is wind power, sewage treatment plant, water management, environment projects, all are coming under renewable energy. And there are, investors who are ready to invest on that.
Right. I mean, we were exploring to look at a joint venture partner who wants to enter India and established already large establishment just to also unlock some valuation. So would that be the right platform for me to join in?
Yes, sure. So we can, connect you to the respective investors. You can share your projects reports and they can come. So there are people who are ready to, participate in those kind of projects. I know one of the investors is Texas Space Foundations, Property Assets Clean Energy. So that PACE, in fact, by the way, I am that executive council member of Indo-American Chamber of Commerce also. So, so I have done 2-3 webinars on that, and through PACE of Texas. So Property Assets Clean Energy. That includes that environment and water management projects also.
Okay.
It's
So maybe tomorrow or day after, when convenient to you, I will take a personal call with you, whenever convenient to you.
Sure.
You are in Bombay, right?
I am at Bombay at the moment, yes.
Perfect. So maybe on Monday, when my son is also around, we'll talk. Thank you.
Sure.
Is Mr. Kevin around?
He may be trying. Actually, I have just make him wake up. It's around 5:30 over there in the morning. So, let's see.
Anyways.
Otherwise, I think we have finished, all the questions and answers.
Yes. So it has been indeed a very, very interesting and useful webinar organized by US Global Business Forum for the benefit of members of Chamber of Commerce. It is very interesting to note that not only Chamber of Commerce Surat members have joined in this webinar, but many people from as far as Hyderabad, Telangana have also joined in, and I'm very sure that it would culminate into a very fruitful visit of delegates to April conference in California. I'll request Vice President of Chamber of Commerce, Sri Himanshu Bhai Mudawala, to propose.
I think there, Dr. Anil, there was a question from Mr. Suresh that what are the tax component or money transfer issues to companies funded in India?
Correct.
So that was also very important question. See, most of the investments is supposed to happen in FDI route, foreign direct investment. And there are many segments where Government of India has allowed 100% FDI. Insurance segment, medical segment, renewable segment. But there are certain segments where 100% is not allowed. They have to come through the RBI route. So whatever the taxations applicable as per RBI route, that has to be applicable. The one thing may be pertinent questions, like say for a debt financing of a huge amount, also to be clubbed with hedging cost, because it's a dollar fund. So while you are repaying, dollar may fluctuate, so hedging cost should be also considered. Yes, please. You have to answer on it.
Anil bhai, unmute karjo.
Yes, yes. No. I'm requesting our Vice President Himanshu Bhai Bodiwala to propose a vote of thanks. Himanshu Bhai, please.
Thank you, Anil bhai. It was really very informative webinar today. So a big thank to Dr. Arun Ghosh ji, who had really shared all the details to how to get the global funding. And we can say Tesla, you said Tesla is coming to India. So this is a big achievement, I think, on the Indian side. So thank you very much, Ghosh Saab, for sharing your views, sharing your knowledge with us. I'm also thankful to Sanjay Patwa, who had introduced us, Mr. Ghosh, for this webinar. Thank you, sir. Big thank to Master of Ceremony, Dr. Anil Saraogi ji, for keeping this webinar alive as usual, always. Thank you, Anil ji. Also, thanks to Girish Luthra ji, who joined us on a webinar and shared their views and shared their all the experience till now. Thanks to all the delegates who have joined on the Zoom and who are really very proactive in this webinar. Thank you very much. Also, thanks to all the press and media who are always with us each and every day with Chamber. Thank you very much.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Mr. Ghosh.
Thank you to all.
We are finishing this webinar. Whosoever is interested may get connected with Chamber of Commerce, and we will connect you to Dr. Ghosh Saab, and hopefully a couple of investments could happen as a result of this webinar.